But which one do you think is tougher?
I see him giving that side eye there.
The
like,
side eye.
That's what it's too hard. A man running at you.
Oh, you're getting banged in the face.
I don't know about that. I'm with.
Joe presents From the Corner, brought to you by DAZN.
Hello, fight fans, and welcome to From the Corner, the boxing show that keeps firing right up to the final bell. With me, Swarzy Macaly.
And me, David Alorka. Once again, we've got two high-caliber guests joining us, so let's go ahead and meet them.
Indeed, in the blue corner, we have got a lightning-fast rugby star who's got over 50 caps for England.
And in the red corner, we've got a former Olympian turned explosive cruiserweight. Give it up for Ant Watson and Cheavon Clarke! Yeah.
Had a sauceless studio this morning, you know. But before we get into it and we meet them, let's see what we've got in store for your viewing pleasure. We'll be looking forward to another boxing feast live from DAZN this weekend.
And before we bring you the latest instalment of our Headband Challenge, we'll be digging deep into another talking point from the world of boxing.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, how we doing?
I'm all good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best never stress, Chef. Talk to me.
No, it's good. It's not cold.
Yeah, we out here.
Thanks, yeah.
Well, and we're so happy to have you, man. I know that you're a huge boxing fan, but what is it that you love most about the sport?
I've been a fan of it since I was a kid, really. I remember watching Ricky Hatton fight Floyd Mayweather. That was like the first standout for me. Man, I wanted Ricky Hatton to win so badly. So seeing him get slumped hurt me as a kid. But ever since then, really, I've been a fan. I probably died off a little bit, and it's kind of rekindled the last 3-4 years. I know a couple of the guys on the scene as well, which helps, and seeing those guys in training camps when I've been up there, and then watching them fight up close is pretty cool.
Chef, you ever tried your hand at a bit of rugby?
Bro, they tried to get me to play rugby at school. It was peak. It was cold. You know when it's frosty?
Yeah.
It was terrible, and I was like, nah, it wasn't for me. It was too cold, bro.
Yeah, I hear you, man. You've got to stay warm in these streets, you know what I mean? Yeah. You've had your first pro fight at the London O2 as well. That was huge. Was it exciting for you to do that?
Yeah, it was great. I had, it was at home in London, the O2. I'd say England's best arena for boxing.
Come on.
It was, I had all the Kent fans there. Everybody came out, family who didn't get to come and see me box while I was on Team GB. So it was amazing. It really was.
Absolutely. I thought he was going to shut me out because I was there as well.
Shout out to my guy up there. I mean, he was holding it down. I heard him.
Hey, don't leave me hanging. How did you first get into boxing anyway?
It's funny, right? So I remember it was summer, and everybody at my age group, I think it was around 18, they were going to the gym pumping iron. And I just didn't get it, because I just thought it was boring just going there. Anyway, I played football and I wanted to get fit for the season coming up. So I went to this gym down the road. I conned my friend to come with me as well. I went to the gym, and after, I left something in the gym, and the coach was like, he came out, he was like, "Oh, Chevington." And I went back, he goes, "Oh, here's what you had." He goes, "Oh, you're good, you are." Because you should come back. You could be a world champion. In my head, I was thinking, this guy's lost it. He's lost it. And then, it was his energy. He just had this energy in the session, and it was hard, bro. It was hard. But because of the passion that he had and the energy, I wanted to go back. And to this day, we're still, going at it, training hard, and yeah.
Well, you started super young. You made your rugby Premiership debut at just 17 years old. That is young. So how did it feel as a teenager playing for the highest level of men's rugby?
Yeah, it was a bit mad because I was actually at school the week.
No way.
I swear. So I was in like chemistry class or something, and then because I would only go into the club once a week on a Tuesday. They gave me off school to go and train with the first team. So it was on a Thursday the team got announced, and I was in chemistry class, and one of the guys in the team texted me saying, "Bro, you're on the bench this weekend in the Premiership game." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you got to come to training now." Then I've gone to training from school, and then next thing you know, on the Saturday I've come off the bench and played in the Premiership. It was all just a bit mad, really. To be honest with you, I was, like you said, I was pretty young, and I was bricking it, I'll be honest with you. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. Like, this is just, they're all huge and I'm the lightest kid out here. But I loved it. I really did love it.
You've now had over 50 caps for England. How does it feel putting on the jersey for your country?
Yeah, it's unreal. Like, I can't do it justice, if I'm honest, in words. The thing with England caps is, you start off your career, like even when I was 17, this story I just gave, you say you want to play in the Premiership one time and you do it and you're like, right, I want to play in the Premiership 50 times or 100 times now. And then you get one England cap and you're like, right, I'll be happy with 10 now. And then you get 10 and you're like, nah, I need 50. You get 50, you're like, where can I go next? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's constantly trying to... So I don't think until I'm finished, to be honest with you, with my career, that I'll ever look back and... I will look back and be like, oh, that was really, really good.
Chev, you competed for Jamaica at the Commonwealth Games and then switched to Team GB for the Olympics. So how did that come about? I
competed for Jamaica in 2014. I really wanted to compete for GB in England, and I was doing really well. I'd won the national championships in 2010 and 2011. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a chance to go in GB. I had my trials, and I finished up in the last 3, and then they chose 2 other guys. And I was so disappointed. I went back home. I said, I ain't boxing no more. I said, it's not fair. I won the championship. And then my coach, he goes, you're Jamaican, right? So yeah, he goes, I'll come back to you. 2 weeks later, he goes, we're going to Jamaica.
You went on holiday.
Yeah, cool. And they find some sponsors and stuff. Went out to Jamaica, won the national championships out there, and then that entitled me to then go and compete at the Commonwealth Games, which was 6 because I was next door neighbours with Usain Bolt.
Come on,
that was cold.
Man.
That was cold.
Come on.
And so then after that, it was disappointment for me at the Commonwealth Games, which was in Glasgow. I then finished up there, came back home, and I was like, I'm done with boxing. I stopped boxing. I was a lorry driver. I was at all your B&Qs, your home base. I was there. I was delivering all your products for 2 years. And throughout that 2-year period, my friends were just onto me, annoying me. Like, oh, you're a waste.
So they get it. Let them know.
You're a waste of space. You're a waste of talent. Who's ever done what you've done? Blah, blah, blah. And one day I was just like, okay, cool. And then I went back to the gym just to like do a little bit. And then the coach, Jason, he said to me, he goes, we've got a show on March 4th. Make sure you're ready. And I was like, you've never said that before. You never bothered me. So then I was like, okay, I'll get ready. I got ready. I had the fight at the home show, won. And then my other coach, Len, straight after, he goes, you know the championships are in 2 weeks. Make sure you're ready. And then he just went from there. Won the national championships and then got trials for GB and then went on. And
has boxing training ever made up a part of your training regime? Anything that you're stealing from the boxers?
Yeah, I've done a bit. It's humbling. Honestly, the first few times I did some stuff on the pads, I thought I was sick. And then I saw a video of me doing it and I was like, oh my God, I look that bad. Like, it was bad. And even just learning about it, it is humbling. Like the footwork side of things, the way that you guys move, it looks real simple. When you try and do it, it's crazy. I don't know whether it's me or what, but it just feels like it's alien and it's difficult to learn. I have so much respect for these guys because what they do is ridiculous.
It's not easy.
Nah.
Not at all.
Not in the slightest bit. Do you see any similarities between the psychology of a boxer and that of a rugby player?
Yeah, I think there is some similarities. I think obviously the physical side of it is pretty similar, but I'd say it's probably more position specific. I'd say the front rowers have probably got the most similar role as a boxer in terms of, it's direct one-on-one a lot of the time. So like, a loose head will be going up against a tight head. So it's very much a one-on-one matchup, which is the closest you can get in a rugby pitch to boxing. And that's why you see a lot of those front rowers, they look at boxers for like inspiration. So like Ellis Genge, for example, loves Mike Tyson. And you see that with the way he plays, like he's a madman.
Yeah.
But, there's also, these guys go through camps and build up to a massive event, whereas rugby is like week and week. So there are some similarities, but it is a different sport. And like I said, I've got so much respect for what these guys do. Like to build up to one event for 12 weeks is like, I don't know if I've got the concentration back for that one.
I'm thinking the similarity is pain. There's pain involved, you know what I mean? So I've got to ask the question, surely the pain that's involved, is it tougher to be a boxer or to be a rugby player? You both play really dangerous sports, but which one do you think is tougher?
I see him giving that side eye there.
The side eye.
Oh, you better say the right thing here.
We know it's got to be boxing.
Nah,
There's no other sport
your
like
sport is too hard, bro.
100%.
Your sport is too hard. The man running at you.
Oh, you're getting banged in the face.
I don't know about that. I'm with.
I like that. Yeah, hey.
Yeah, some guys like it. I don't. I'll be slipping, sliding and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Any crossovers? Anyone that you think in the boxing world would make a good rugby player?
Not a professional, but there's a guy on GB Boxing, Conor Tudsbury. this guy is he's just an athlete. He's just like an out-and-out athlete. He's built like this and he's fast. I don't know what position he'd play, but if he runs into you, it's a problem.
You'll know about it.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
And how about you? Anyone in your team you feel like, you know what I mean, could make it as a boss?
I've got to go with the front rowers, didn't you? Genji's definitely one of them. He'd back himself as well. He probably thinks he's... I'm sure he's made up some stats that he was Southwest champion or something. Like under 14, I'm like...
Under 14.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Carl Sinkler will probably be up there as well. More so because when he sets his mind on something, like he's all in. Like his whole life will revolve around that. And I can see him being in camp for 12 weeks and doing nothing but being in the gym and sleeping. So I'd say one of those two.
And what about a fight between them two, Sinclair and Kenj?
Oh, fuck. You put me in the worst situation possible. Like, this is a lose-lose for me. You know what? I think Sink might technically be a bit better, but Genj is a dog. Genj isn't looking to go out, like, he's going to get stretched off, like, he's ready to die in there. So, I don't know. I'm going to sit up. Nah, let's go with Genji then. Sink, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
You better check your phone.
I know.
Check your phone.
He's coming for me, bro.
Now, on the show each week, we love to discuss a talking point from the world of boxing. And this week, we want to talk about one of Britain's favourite boxers, Amir Khan.
Amir was soundly beaten in his recent clash with rival Kell Brook, and many people said he should retire. But he's eyeing up another fight. Do you guys think that's a wise decision?
I think if he wants to go and fight, if he's going to prepare and be sound and be there for the whole fight, then yeah, why not? Who are we to say no?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is he down as one of our favourite boxers here in Britain?
Yeah, I think he's got to be up there. I think especially when he was young, he was definitely like one of the people's favourite, wasn't he? Everyone was going to watch his fights. Everyone was watching him on TV, and he had that aura about him, didn't he?
Eddie Hearn's mentioned that he could possibly fight Conor Benn. Would that be a good fight for either?
It'll be a good fight.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say?
He's getting pins and needles down there. You're right there.
No, I think it'll be a good fight for Conor Benn. I think the British public will be entertained, which is the main thing. You have to think it's another name. You have to remember Amir Khan went to the Olympics and got a medal, and he was a big deal in Britain. So to have that name on your CV,
True.
I'm not saying that he's definitely going to win.
I don't want to rule him out.
I'm just saying, you know, that's
the incentive.
Connor's point,
Yeah, I hear you.
Can a boxer ruin their legacy by taking fights in their later years that they know they're probably just doing it for money?
I would hate to be that guy in terms of a rugby perspective who's longed out his career as much as possible and playing rubbish towards the end just to get a bit more money. I feel like you've got to uphold yourself to a certain standard, and once you've dropped below that, it's time. You know that's it.
For me, I look at people like Mayweather and all the others that invested wisely, and I think, you know, they had the world at their feet. They could leave whenever they want. You know, and I think it's all good when boxers or athletes in general are being successful at the time. You go out and you know, but then later on in your career, when it's coming to the end, you're trying to find a note, you know, so then it forces you into a certain situation. And I don't know anybody's financial situation, but that's what we hear in the media. And if it's for that reason, then it's sad.
Of course. And you mentioned about a standard and knowing when to stop. But how do you measure that standard? How do you know when you're going to hang up your rugby boots?
I think some of it is like, I know what I should be able to do on the pitch. I know how I should be able to move. I know that I should be able to, you know, beat the defender one-on-one type thing. I know that, you know, I'd say in my head 7 times out of 10, I should be able to do that.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm struggling to do that, it's pointless me being out there because that's my thing. So if I can't do that, what's the point? There is the flip side of it, which is to reinvent yourself as a different type of player. But in my head, I know what I think makes me me. So I feel like as soon as that's not doing its thing, then I need to knock it on its head.
If you've got a family, does your family want to see you go out there and get hurt just to put money on the table?
Yeah.
Do they rather you healthy or damaged for? And then also, as my man says, it comes down to your standard. You know, do you want to be out there looking basic, or do you want to go out looking sharp and people, you know what, he was really good. They see you down the road. All right, chef, he was really good, you know. We like it, or, you know, you see you down the road and they're like, kind of,
yeah.
It's down to the individual, but I'd like to leave on a good note.
Last weekend, DAZN served up 2 cracking fight nights from 2 corners of the world. Firstly, we saw Triple G unify the middleweight division after stopping Ryoto Murata in 9 rounds in Saitama, Japan.
Whilst over in San Antonio, USA, we saw the long-awaited return of Ryan Garcia, who delivered a decisive points victory over Emmanuel Taygo as he went the full 12 rounds for the first time in his career.
Now, a lot of people said Triple G looked visibly older and slower. Does a 40-year-old Triple G stand any chance against Canelo in a trilogy if that fight happens?
I don't know. The first 2 were close, weren't they? I mean, I know there was a lot of controversy over the first one, yeah. So I think there's got to be a third one. I think there's got to be, irrelevant of age or whatever, I think there's got to be a third one. It's just it's unfinished business. And I think Triple G he's just a man, isn't he? I don't know, I just like the way he carries himself. I like that he's not conformed to like this whole, you know, like fight hype situation that everyone's doing at the moment. He's just being himself, and I think that being authentic is key. For
GGG to go out there and do such a good job, Murata wasn't an average fighter. People are forgetting, like, he won gold at 2012. The year before that in the World Championships, he got a silver medal. He's a seasoned amateur. So that was a really, really good performance. And he was younger. You know, GGG suffered in the first 5 rounds. But he did GGG, man. He just came back.
Yeah.
And the power in the end.
Prevailed.
You know what I mean? Like, he got caught with the uppercut loads, but he did a really, really, really good job to come back.
I think so as well. I mean, people are saying he looks visibly older and slower. Fam, he looked all right to me. Do you know what I mean? Going up against someone younger. Yeah. Does it make any difference to you what people think about you?
Me, no. No, because you can't do what I can do.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know, I'm not trying to do what you're doing. I have this saying of just minding my own business. My mum told me that, so I stick with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're all in this industry, but I know what I can do, you know what you can do.
Yeah.
We apply that.
Absolutely. Well, Garcia failed to knock out a negative Taygo. Should he have gone for the jugular and just finished him off? What do you think?
You know, I watched the fight and I'm really surprised he lasted the 12 rounds. That's the first time Garcia's gone 12 rounds, right?
Yep.
Garcia was just the bigger man, dominant. There was levels. You could see the levels. Taygo caught Garcia with the same shot that Campbell, was it Campbell he fought?
Yep.
Caught him, dropped him with. So I saw that and his chin was a bit high, but you know, that performance, it just shows like he was level above. Yeah. Taygo was just on the back foot all the way around. A couple of times he had a few flurries, but it was just a dominant performance.
Now, once again, this weekend, DAZN are laying on a high-octane display of boxing brilliance. And this time, the action is straight out of Manchester.
That's right, and the main card features one of British boxing's brightest stars. Let's take a look.
Confidence is a luxury for the hard-working. Oh, good one, 2 and he's down! I'm top 5, I'm top 5 for a reason. Top world level athlete. I work extremely hard. I'm the best fighter in Britain for them.
I got deep ball running. I got a lot of firepower here. And I'm beating them good.
Hungry young fighter on great momentum. Supreme confidence.
Exceptional from Conor Benn.
Don't think I could push my body anymore, but I managed to.
I'm astounded how far he's come in such a short time.
You know, I'm a student of the game and school's never out.
The job is to position him for a world title fight in the most difficult and dangerous division in boxing.
Who's next?
Former world champion.
He's a well-seasoned pro. I continue to prove myself every single time whoever they put in front of me.
You know, it sounds like arrogance, but it's just confidence speaking.
Wow, well, a red-hot prospect against an experienced pro. How do you guys think this one's going to play out?
You got to go British, don't you? I mean, I know that Vanillin's had more fights, he's more experienced, but I don't know. I just like Conor Benn's chances. I think he's the man and he's British, so we got to go with the home side, innit?
Absolutely.
First and foremost, I think we need to give credit to Conor Benn. You know, when he first came, me and most of other people was like, oh, yo, he's going to live off his dad's name. But, you know, he came in and he was a little rugged at first, and then you know, he's been in the game, he's been studying and he's been working, and what they've been doing over there at the gym, big credit to them, man, because he's come on and now he is a danger. People have to give him respect. Even though Van Heerden is a bit tricky, I just don't think he'll be able to match what Conor Benn brings.
And we spoke there about Conor being in the shadow of his dad. What was it like growing up with a father and a brother that used to play rugby?
My older brother, when we were coming up, was like, I was definitely in his shadow. Like, he was the man, you know? And I think that kind of chasing that helped me. I think that there is probably a lot of pressure. Like, some of my good mates have got dads who are big names in the sport, like George Ford and Owen Farrell. And I think that you're able to harness a lot of knowledge earlier through that. So, like, Conor Benn, through his dad, will have a lot more knowledge from an early stage. And I think that it will help him deal with these bigger fights better than someone else may have done. Yeah. So I think it's definitely helpful for sure. And I think that, yeah, hopefully he continues on his trajectory and can step out of that shadow, if there is a shadow anymore, I don't know. Because I think he's world class.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks ready to go. In the lead up, he said this is another stepping stone for me on my journey to the top. I haven't seen anything in Van Heerden's previous fights that I can't deal with, and I expect another explosive victory on April the 16th. Is he in danger of being too confident going into this one, or is it a good thing? What do you think?
Personally, there's a very thin line, and when you're in the gym with your coaches and your team, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing in sparring, and you know the quality of people that you're sparring against. So you making that judgment to somebody outside might seem cocky, but you know what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And as I said, I have confidence in him.
Absolutely. Well, DAZN actually caught up with Conor and Chris to talk more about the fight. Let's see what they had to say.
I remember waking up as a boy, watching boxing with my dad in South Africa, and then watching this moment. 20,000 people in a stadium, main event, eyes on you. That's where I fell in love with boxing. And now I'm getting my shot after 15 years.
Manchester's unbelievable. I love fighting Manchester. It's great to be headlining there. I think it's the first time headlining in Manchester, and it really is a blessing. So I really do feel like the British public are on this journey with me, and all I can say is that I give my best. Wherever I end up in my career, I've given my best to entertain the public. I've done whatever I can to reach my full potential and do Britain proud.
I'm a much better boxer than Conor Benn. Conor is, in my opinion, Conor is an emotional, angry fighter. He relies on his power. He cannot box with me. He's not a boxer. He's a power puncher, and I don't rate him as a boxer.
Chris Van Heerden needs to be ready for a whole lot of firepower, and needs to be ready for someone who fights like he's got everything to lose. He said he don't rate my boxing ability. As I said, if you don't respect me, I'll make you respect me, and that's what's going to happen. If you don't respect me when he gets in there, I'll make sure he respects me. I don't need no fuel. I don't fight for anyone else. I don't rely on anyone else to motivate me to get a victory. I motivate myself. If anything, I'm selfish. If anything, I fight when I don't need to fight, but I fight because I love to fight. I risk my life for my family when I don't need to. If that ain't motivation, then I don't know what is.
If you talk about struggle and hard work, Ben, and that's something that motivates me, Ben has not walked the road I've walked. I didn't have a last name to carry me in my boxing career. I had to dig the hard way. I just gotta stay focused on doing me. I gotta cut the crowd out. I know it's gonna be a tough one. You know, it's a very hostile crowd in Manchester. And the key here is for me to stay calm, stay focused, and that's how I'm gonna beat them.
I find that quite interesting watching them to talk like they were talking there, because Conor Benn was focused a lot on himself. He didn't give Van Heerden no
credit.
Yeah, but he also didn't bring him down. He wasn't trying to bring it. But whereas Van Heerden, there was a lot of sly digs in there. You know, talking about his last name, talking about growing up and this and that. Like, I don't know. For me, watching that, if I was a neutral, I would be totally on Conor Benn's side, because I'm just like, why you got to pull him down like that?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like, I don't know. I know that there's an element to it that's selling the fight, but I felt that was a bit too sly. I'm not with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big time, man. Is trash talking massive in rugby?
Nah. No, it's not. But I think there's an element of it that needs to get it needs to get better because it's entertaining as well.
Yeah,
Like, if there's a genuine beef there, then like I think that needs to be celebrated in a way, but not to sell tickets. Like I'm not with the whole calling out people like, is it Jake Paul or whatever? I don't know. I'm not with that. I just think that's a bit mad personally. But if there's a genuine hatred there, then obviously everyone's going to want to watch it because it's real. But when it's fake, it's just like we can see through that. Yeah.
But then they hug at the end, right?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What's that? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's the time of the show where we put our guests to the test. It's the Headband Challenge.
I have been waiting for this part of the show. So you guys have got 30 seconds to punch the ball as many times as you can. Our current leader is the comedian Kay Kurd, who managed a whopping 91 punches. So, let's play.
Oh, no.
Who's going first?
You.
I believe in you.
One, go.
Let's go.
Yes, nice.
That's what we're talking about. This is quality. This is quality.
Killing it,
This is
killing it.
quality. Coordination up in here. Come on. Yes.
Rhythm and flow.
Come on.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, nice, it's nice. Keep going, keep going. Let's go. You got it.
Come on, Chef.
Rhythm and flow.
Love it. Love it. Hey. Top quality. Come on!
Nice.
Sensational stuff. Guys, how was that? How do you feel?
That was hard, bro.
I think he was practicing at home. Technique down here. I'm all doing this and he was.
All right, I'm gonna hit you with the scores. Coming in at 67.
Woo!
As it was done!
I'll take that.
Sensational.
You definitely beat me.
All right.
He won. Nah, because the technique, bro.
Hey, listen.
Anyway, go on, say it.
Coming in at 4th place on our leaderboard with 83.
Yeah.
Come on! Come on!
Yeah, I'll take that.
C4.
Wait, you say 4th place?
4th place, mate.
4th place, 1 C4, baby. You know?
You knew what you were doing.
Oh, guys, you've been an absolute joy to have on the show, you know. Please, ladies and gents, give it up for Aaron for Chef!
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having us.
Really good.
Remember to catch us on the Joe YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. You've been watching From the Corner, brought to you by JOE and DAZN. You've been listening to From the Corner, brought to you by JOE and DAZN.